Irish Prime Minister says Israeli actions in Gaza, not acceptable.
Here's a summary of the article.
And Taoiseach Leo Varadkar has criticised Israel for cutting off electricity and water supplies to Gaza, describing the actions as not acceptable, and saying they may breach international law. In an interview with Prime Time, broadcast last night at 9:35 p.m. on RTE1, Mr. Varadkar said, Israel is under threat. They do have a right to defend themselves, but they don't have the right to breach international humanitarian law. Mr. Varadkar called on Hamas to release all hostages immediately, and said Israel is justified in attacking Hamas in Gaza and elsewhere. On housing, in response to questions about the government's record, Mr. Varadkar said funding allocated in Budget 2024 will result in some of the largest housing provision in the history of the state. On health issues, Mr. Varadkar defended the decision to give the Department of Health just over €700 million in additional funding, despite it seeking €2 billion in the budget, saying no minister got exactly what they asked for. In recent weeks, Mr. Varadkar was criticised by some unionists in Northern Ireland for saying he believed he will see a united Ireland in his lifetime. In response to questions on the topic, Mr. Varadkar said, I am sorry if it is the case that me talking about unification incendiary or provocative to people in Northern Ireland. I am genuinely sorry if that's the case, but it shouldn't be the case.
This post received a score of 17,000, with an upvote ratio of 80%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Just what he said for people who can't or don't want to open the article. And Taoiseach Leo Varadkar has criticised Israel for cutting off electricity and water supplies to Gaza, describing the actions as not acceptable, and saying they may breach international law.
Not only did he insult Hamas, thus condemning them and their actions, he also attacked the wider community of anti-Semites around the world. Some of these comments on our world news are becoming unhinged. When did water not become a human right? And if it's not a human right for terrorists, then he's exactly right. This does amount to collective punishment.
It's fucking insane. People are advocating for collective punishment and completely happy to see civilians suffer.
Those Redditors don't see Palestinians as humans.
I saw a highly upvoted comment saying that we need to bomb them back into their holes. And they said it for Palestinians in general, not just Hamas. Like, what kind of rhetoric is that?
They might as well have been quoting American politicians in October of 2001. There is a certain type of person who will respond to violence with unrestrained widespread violence.
I'm Irish. A lot of us aren't mad on Varadkar, but here he can't win. Whatever he says, people are going to speak up. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Seems like he is taking a fairly good approach on this one.
I agree. I'm not a supporter of his, but I agree with him on this and think he said it well.
Oh come on. What would the Irish know about occupation by a larger and more powerful neighbour?
Lol. If the Irish and British are any measure of how far we have to go, I guess we have about another 600 years.
International law doesn't mean a damn thing as it's never enforced.
It is. Many countries have been sanctioned over it. But not Israel. The U.S. has vetoed 53 UN resolutions criticizing the Israeli government.
The guy you're replying to likely comes from one of those countries it doesn't apply to TBF.
Irish Prime Minister is called a Taoiseach FYI.
I appreciate the fact that here in Ireland you can be openly critical of the Israeli government and its actions without being accused of being an anti-Semite. We have a habit of being outspoken about apartheid states, and Israel is no exception.
The Prime Minister also struck the perfect balance.
To everyone saying Ireland should take in Palestinians, the reason why people are calling for the emancipation of Palestinians is because the right to self-determination, the entire basis of Zionism, is being stripped away. Moving Palestinians from Palestine to anywhere else, be it Egypt or Ireland, does not resolve the issue.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.